Hey everyone, it's Corey with Reel Filmmaking, and today I just want to talk some real talk, just talk about filmmaking and how sometimes it's hard. It is brutal, and it will kick you while you are down, and yeah, it's just rough, but it's still so worth it. When I have these real talks, I just want to be honest, transparent with all of you, and when I look at filmmaking, YouTube, filmmaking, social media, all that stuff, we tend to see a lot of the highlight reels. People are like, I got to shoot on this set, or my script won this thing, or I got to finally produce that feature film that I want to do. I got to work with this actor, this camera, all this stuff. And that's amazing. I don't want to take those things away from people. But we all know the truth that those are highlights. It's the highlight reel. That is not reality. Reality is a lot more in the journey. It's in the grind. It's in the process. There's a lot of failures. There's a lot of setbacks. And it's hard. And there's a lot of just like you go up, 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 and then you hit a plateau and you just hang there for a long time. And those are the sorts of things that people don't talk about in the filmmaking community. And it's a lot of the struggle, it's a lot of the journey, the long nights, the waiting that people don't talk about on YouTube. And every creative has those moments. They're walking through those moments. But those aren't the fun moments that people want to put on highlight reels and social media and put on videos. Those don't get the clicks. But, my goal is always to keep it 100 with all of you here and just be real. And that's where I've been recently. I have very much been in that space where I've been working. I'm very thankful that I get to do video production. It pays my bills, and I get to work with a wide variety of people, use different gear and stuff. On the YouTube side, I'm very thankful just for all the support that you give me here on the channel. Just the channel broke 10,000 subscribers this year. That doesn't go without my notice. And this little thing that I started a handful of years ago is continuing to grow and build a community, people who are passionate about Magic Lantern and just filmmaking in general. I'm so thankful for all of that. And then, when I look at my filmmaking, all these things tie into it, but I look at my filmmaking, some of the short films I've gotten to produce over the years and the stuff I've gotten to shoot this year and projects I'm working on, it's been good, but it's been hard. You have to make small practice things. You have to do all these different things to really make gains, to grow, to improve. And a lot of that happens kind of in the dark. A lot of that happens in the grind and the hustle, and you don't see that in the day-to-day. And that's hard. That is really hard because, there's a lot of projects and things that I've worked on this year that haven't really materialized. They haven't gone anywhere. Lots of projects that I have put time towards that are still documents on my computer. They're still ideas in a note on my phone. There's a lot of stuff that hasn't gotten out of these different levels, and it's a number of reasons why some of these things haven't moved forward. Sometimes it's I just don't have the energy, I don't have all the time, resources are limited, trying to network and find people. And a lot of this stuff is the harder hustle, behind the scenes stuff that doesn't get talked about a lot on YouTube, especially when you look at the kind of middle range filmmakers. I feel like I would kind of fall into very indie. It's even the low end of indie. I'm not even working with even bigger indie budgets on my projects. For all that struggle, for all those things that I'm going through, that I see you filmmakers out there who are in that place, who are hustling, who are doing the stuff, and I get that it's hard, and I get that a lot of the hours of your working day that you have to put towards doing videos, editing, shooting stuff for other people to pay your bills, which again I said is a huge blessing that I get to do that, but it's not the passion that drives you for filmmaking. It's an adjacent thing. You can use your skills in a way to provide, but your real heart is wanting to make films and trying to push that forward. And sometimes you're in a rut, sometimes you're kind of just in the doldrums. If you're familiar with sailing, it's where you hit a spot and there's just no wind for your sails to catch and you're just hanging out there. That's a hard place to be in, and that's where I feel like I've been most of this year. I've been building different things, and I've been working on different projects. I've gotten to shoot a couple really cool things. I've seen a couple of my projects screened at film festivals, which has been huge. But, by and large, I haven't had the momentum or the growth per se that somebody, if you look on filmmaking YouTube, you'd say, oh man, that person, like, he's killing it. Corey's killing it. That's not really what it looks like. It's been slow, incremental, and just trying to keep it steady. And I think a big part of that is showing up each day, trying to do something, trying to move the ball down the court. If you play sports, you understand that, but it's just trying to have the continual momentum. And, even on YouTube, I've struggled to do that this year for a number of reasons, but I'm just trying to be present when I can, when I show up and talk to all of you and provide things that I'm learning, information and encouragement. And this is a huge thing that I feel like just doesn't get talked about a ton in filmmaking YouTube. We glamorize the gear, we glamorize all these different aspects of things, but so much of the BTS, the process, the day in, the day out, that just doesn't really get talked about because it's not fun. Some days it's really not fun, and it's hard, like I was saying at the beginning. This is hard. There's days that I have felt just like down and out. I could do a whole video about the film festival submission process and just what a roller coaster that could be. You submit to a whole bunch of festivals, pay money, and then, you're like, oh, I think I'm going to get in. No. I think I'm going to get in. No, okay. I don't care about this one. Get accepted. So it's just up and down. And it's hard. Maybe you're working with people and you're like, oh, this idea, this film is going to pan out, and then it just doesn't. And it just fizzles out. And then you have to start again. Or you had like a really good idea that you really like it, and then just it feels like, oh, this isn't going to go where I want it to go, or any number of reasons, the well just runs dry and you have to start again, or something in your life happens and you have to restart wherever you are in the process. That's all part of filmmaking, and it's hard. And it's hard in an ever-increasing world where it's like so much of this is like a mental battle. It's like, do people care about the arts? And every day you're waking up and you're hearing like the arts are going to be replaced and people devalue the arts and AI is going to take my job and all these different things. It's like there's so much of that goes into the grind, the day-to-day of being a filmmaker. You're not just going and shooting interviews for people, clocking in, clocking out, doing that sort of thing. The creative energy that you are expending towards this goal of like making a vision come out of your head to the page and then taking it from the page to the camera, it is so taxing. And it's so hard, and it's not glamorous, and you're not compensated for this. If you can find your way to get into compensation, like that is great. But a lot of the times, we suffer in silence. We're doing this for the love of the craft. And I have to remind myself of those things because on my dark days, it feels really like, what is the point? Why am I doing this? Why am I running myself into the ground? But this is where I want to remind all of you out there that filmmaking is important, the arts are important, and it is worth it. All this stuff is hard. Like I said, being in a creative rut, being kicked while I'm down, going through all of that is worth it because filmmaking is such a powerful thing to me. Telling stories, connecting with people, films and arts have deeply impacted my life. Getting the opportunity to create things and tell stories and share about people's experiences who might not have been able to tell their story, or to go on an adventure, to be taken out of reality for a while and to enter into something new, a new experience that you haven't felt. Like that is a beautiful thing, and that's a uniquely human thing, and that's a uniquely beautiful thing about the arts and particularly filmmaking. And that's why I do it. That's why I do it day in and day out, even when it feels like I'm making no progress. That's why I make films, because even in the struggle, I really believe that it's worth it. And so if you're in that place, I just want to empathize. I want to say I see you. I'm right there with you. I'm in the process. I'm in the grind. I don't have all the beautiful, amazing highlight reels to post on my Instagram and on my YouTube every day and have the awesome thing. That's just not reality. I'm out here working, I'm doing it, and I know that you are too, and I see you, and I appreciate you. And The world needs more of you. The world needs you to tell the stories that you're working on, that are in your Notes app, that are in that Google Doc. Those stories need to come to life. So thanks for taking a little bit of time just to listen. I hope this was encouraging. And thank you for going on this journey with me. I appreciate all of you so much. And just in the spirit of this video, I've alluded to this a couple times on the channel over the last year, but I have worked on a short film that I will be releasing very soon here on the channel. It is called Side Effects. It is a psychological thriller that I shot now over a year ago, and it's just ending its film festival run actually this coming weekend. Hopefully it will be out in time for Halloween. You can get a little spooky vibes if that's your thing. It's been a labor of love. I've been pressing onward and upward with this thing, and I'm really proud of it. And I'm excited to share it with you all here on the channel and just to hear your thoughts and your feedback. Got a little bonus BTS stuff that's coming with it too. But again, I appreciate all of you, and thanks for being here. Thanks for going on this journey with me of making movies and watching movies. And until next time, I'm just going to say it. Keep making movies and watching movies, and I'll see you on Reel Filmmaking.